I am CA Nikhil from Jaipur, moderator of this webinar. We are delighted to welcome you all in webinar being organized by Continuing Professional Education Committee of ICI. It is my pleasure to be a moderator for 68 webinar on AI at work and key learning from NFRA circular order and guideline. In the short while we will start this webinar, first I would like to apprise you about CPE committee. The role of a chartered accountant is involving continuously to accept newer responsibility in a dynamic global environment. The future of CA profession depends on being flexible and upon innovation. Therefore, the need of ours is to innovate as per the requisites for the contemporary business environment and accordingly upgrade the curriculum and education system of chartered accountancy course. The committee also believes that members of ICI should look beyond the traditional area of practice and seek to explore new area of business and profession. And hence, the CP committee is mentoring the members by providing guidelines through various workshops, seminars, national conferences, background material, etc. Simultaneously, by encouraging young and dynamic profession to grow as speaker and master of ceramic, etc. in CP programs. In this program for evening, as follow, we have two sessions, 1 hour each. First session is AI at work, escalate smartly, navigate safely. Second one, key learning from NFRA, circulars, orders, and guidelines. Our immediate speakers will talk about, mention these two emerging areas of this profession. For first, I will invite to Mr. Mudit for this session. Before introducing Muditji, I want to introduce a brief introduction of him. He has over a decade of professional experience splashing audit and management consultancy. He has worked extensively in PMLA, Statutory Internal System Audit, Direct Taxation, and GST implementation. He has handled diversified assignments for listed and unlisted entities across sectors, including manufacturing, IT, hospitality, real estate, finance sector, government, and NGO. He regularly delivered sessions at ICI, ICSI, NACIN, SCAR, and various professional firms and actively contribute to capacity building initiative across the India. Now, I request to Muditji, please start your session.
I hope my screen is visible. Okay. First of all, thank you to Satish ji and Vishnu ji for inviting me in this CP program and everyone at the committee. Now, coming directly to the topic, AI at work, we are in that age where we need to use AI, but we need to act smartly. We can't use AI on face, right? We are in that age where using AI is easy, but it is coming with its own implications and ramifications, which we need to discuss in the upcoming slides. So first of all, why this session matters? AI, as you all know, is part of our life now. And if we are planning to work without AI, then probably it is going to be a time consuming and cost effective task for us. If we want to be cost efficient and effective in our works, then probably we will have to use AI. But we at the same time, we need to understand how long we can use AI for all, what all tasks we can use AI, and what all dependency should be there on the AI. So we should be aware of how it is going to shape our practice, what all client expectations do we need to see while using the AI, what should be the focus, and what is going to be the performance multiplier which we can gain through the usage of AI. So for example, generally I quote this sentence like, if you are doing 100 tasks in a day, then probably out of those 100 tasks, 50 tasks can only be done by AI. balance 50 tasks can't be done by AI. That only you will have to do, since your professional skepticism, your professional judgment is involved in all those tasks. But balance 50 tasks which are probably clerical in nature or maybe repetitive in nature, that can be delegated to an AI, or you can get it, all those tasks done through AI. And AI is going to that do that 50 percent of all those tasks 1,000 times better what you could have done. But the balance 50% will have to be done by you. You will have to use your judgment, you will have to use your professional skepticism, and you need to be aware of the fact that many of the AI, including Chat GPT, Cloud, or maybe Deep Research, many of the AI do hallucinate. So, for example, in many of the cases, you may have used AI to, search some of the case laws, or maybe drafting some opinion or something like that. And while reviewing those opinions and case laws quoted in the reply given by the AI, you all would have experienced that the citations and everything given by AI are totally fake. So we need to be cautious enough in using AI, and especially we should review everything before providing any deliverable to the client, or using anything internally as well.
Modiji, sorry to
Next
interrupt
is
you. Modiji, sorry to
sorry.
interrupt you. Our chairman Satish Gupta sir has joined. So I request to
Yes.
Satish sir, please for give a welcome address.
Let Mudit continue. Nikhil, I will join later. No issue. Well, we should
Thank
not
you, sir.
disturb his continuity. Please,
Thank
Mudit,
you. Thank you, Modiji. Please continue.
continue.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So, what AI really means today? AI is about robots replacing professional. Is it? No. AI is like an assistant to us. It won't replace us, but we need to understand that it is there for our acceleration and amplification of our work. So we should embrace the AI, but we should also understand the risk beneath this maybe Chat GPT, or maybe Cloud, or maybe Deep Research. We should know all the risk involved, and we should act accordingly. We should understand the limitations of the AI. We should know our workflows as well, and what all risk management strategy we should follow. That all we should have to keep in our mind. How all these things evolved. So maybe 40 years ago, you many of you would have heard that ledgers and everything were maintained manually. Account books were maintained manually. Then the age came where Excel came. People started automating some of their tasks. They started maintaining some sort of their activities in Excel. Then came the ERPs. So by the time ERPs came, for example, Tally, or maybe SAP, maybe AX, or maybe Oracle, all these are ERP based softwares. So they eased down our lives. Many things were automated. Analysis were being done. MIS was being drafted, and many tasks related to the field of finance was automated by the time ERPs were launched. But two things were missing. One was the implementation of cloud. It changed everything. So everything was available on the go. You could access everything everywhere. Location agnostic work got started. Then came the game changer, the cognitive automation, what we call it as AI. AI is artificial intelligence. When I say AI is artificial intelligence, we should focus on the word artificial. It is artificial intelligence. We need to use it carefully and responsibly. It is not a replacement of a professional like us, the chartered accountants, but it is there to help us. It is there to smooth down or mellow down the activities which we need to do. It is there to save our time. It is there to save our time which we spend on clerical related or maybe repetitive tasks. So it is there to help us, but again, I am repeating this again and again that it is not our replacement. We will have to follow this, and we should not assume that maybe some point after some time down the line it is going to replace us. But at the same time, when I'm saying it is not going to replace us, we will have to get it straight in our head that we will have to improve our skill sets. It's not like that without using AI, we will be able to do everything. We may be able to do, but the time constant and the cost constant will be there. So we will have to analyze the fact that without AI, it is going to be difficult, if not possible. So what changed in last 18 months? So generative AI is a breakthrough. Now every software is using AI in some way or the another. You would have seen that in your Excel file also there is a tool called Copilot, which can assist you in making formulas or something like that. So, and most of the softwares have adopted AI in some way or the another, and the data analytics has become mainstream activity of chartered accountants like us. So earlier we used to struggle in doing data analysis with the help of Excel or maybe some softwares also were there, but doing data analytics was not an easy affair. But now with the help of AI, it is an easy task for us. We just need to give some information to the AI, and the AI is going to help us with the data analysis and everything. But before giving any of the information to the AI, we should check that any of the personal information or the critical information or the vital information should not be handed over to AI. So, for example, if you are giving list of your clients with your sales data to the AI, so before giving any of the data to the AI, you should change name of your customers. You should change their address, and you should change all those critical information which can be detrimental to your interest, since privacy is an issue and it is not guaranteed in case of AI. AI may use, AI may not use. Since there is no regulation, you should be cautious enough in sharing every sensitive information with AI. Do redact, do replace before sharing anything on the AI. AI may be anything. So it may be chat GPT, cloud, deep research. Again, it can be anything, but you should be cautious enough before sharing any information over there. Now, SMEs have started adopting the AI. While we all know that AI is being widely used by everyone, be it professionals, be it any part of the world, AI is being used in some way or the other. But how does it works? How does AI identifies anything? How does AI research? So what AI does is AI makes patterns. So on the basis of those patterns, AI predicts what is the context there, and then it will give you some result. And finally, after receiving the result, you need to review whether the result provided by the AI is correct or not. So for your convenience and for your understanding, I will use one practical example of how you can generate balance confirmation letters, which you need to send to your clients, vendors, and or customers while doing your audit. So you can generate all those balance confirmations with the help of AI and Python software. So Python is basically a coding software. You are not supposed to learn Python or anything like that. You just need to punch your information, your requirements to the AI. You just need to provide that to the AI, and AI will do the rest. AI will give you the codes, the file saving patterns, where do you need to save your files, the name of the files and everything the AI is going to provide you. So you are not basically required to learn Python software, but you just need to understand some basics of it and how do you use it. So straight away, I am taking you to my chat GPT, where I have created a sample prompt. Just a second. Is it visible? My is my chat GPT visible? If tech team can confirm.
So PPT is visible only.
PPT is visible. Just a second. Sorry. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir, it is
Okay.
visible now.
So I have mentioned in my prompt that think like a statutory auditor and help me in creating a balance confirmation letter to the vendors or customers of my clients. I will update the name of the customer or vendor in the master sheet, including uh, other variables such as address, amount of balance as at the period end. I want your help in creating this master along with the same balance confirmation letter. It should be able to update the balance confirmation as per the details mentioned in the master file and should give output in PDF, which can be printed and sent to the customer or vendor. It will be signed by our clients. Along with this, they will mention that they are authorizing their customer or vendor to send balance confirmation directly to their auditor. So this is the basic prompt which I gave to Chat GPT, and Chat GPT then told me that in that Excel file, the master file, I need to mention all these columns. So I have already created that Excel file where I have already mentioned the columns which are mentioned in this reply of chat made by Chat GPT. So all these columns are there. I filled some simple data. All this data is fake. So I'm not using any data of my client. So I've created this Excel. Then it told me that this is going to be the format of balance confirmation. If warranted, we can firstly change this format if warranted, but since it is a sample, I am continuing with it. But if you want, the party type to be in italics or something, or you need to change any word, and if you want to do any formatting, you can do that. And upon finalization of your format, you can tell Chat GPT to create revised code. So upon this request, Chat GPT also gave me the code which is needs to be given to Python. So this is the code. So this is a big code. We are not required to get into it. What is mentioned there, what is not mentioned there, what should have been mentioned there. This is the code which will be used by Python to create the balance confirmation in the desired format, which was mentioned earlier. So what we need to do is, when I asked this question to Chat GPT, it forgot to reply me everything. So then I had to mention how should I operate this Python code. Please help me with the name of the file, location, and Python code to initiate this. So then it said that you need to create one Excel file with the name balance underscore master dot xlsx. So this is the name of the Excel file. Next file is generate underscore confirmations dot py. So any file which ends with py is Python file, which where you need to store the code which was mentioned here above. So this code needs to be mentioned in this file, and output folder will be there. So I have created this file generate underscore confirmations dot py, and I have saved that code here. Now, what I need to do is I need to go back to the chat GPT and check the code which need to be mentioned in Python. So how do I use Python? So you simply need to create a new open it in terminal. So you just need to paste that data, Python generate underscore confirmations dot py. So I have not created any code. I have not done anything. I just went to Chat GPT. I gave my problem to Chat GPT that I need to do so and so thing. Chat GPT came back with everything, and it is telling me to run this code Python generate underscore confirmations.py. What I need to do is I just need to paste that code here and I just need to enter. Upon entering, it said generated output underscore letters and then name of the customer or vendor. Now output letters folder is there and this balance confirmation letter. So everything is here. I just need to update that Excel file and I need to run that command again. My 100 or maybe 1000 of my balance confirmation would be here readily available with me. Now, if I want to send it through email, I can do that. If I send it through post, I can do that. It is an easy task for me and it has been done on one go. I'm not supposed to do mail merge and everything or maybe any other software. It hardly took somewhere around 10 minutes of the time to prepare this balance confirmation, not more than that. So basically, why I showed this example to you just to showcase that Python can also be used with AI, and it will be having a multiplier effect on your performance. So balance confirmation is just an example. You can use it to create multiple tools, maybe timesheet, maybe workload management, maybe anything out of it. Maybe for doing ratio analysis, data analysis, maybe for creating MIS reports, or maybe for passing accounting entries, or maybe for creating TDL. TDL is tally definition language, which can be used to generate reports from the tally. So it can be used in many ways. So if we combine AI with Python that is coding, so we can simplify our lives. We can save our time. We can save the time spent on clerical stuff, and we can use our time in productive activities like engaging with the client and doing the skillful work, and maybe it will help in increasing our revenues as well. Next is AI and professional services. So we can use AI in our regular day-to-day lives. We can use it in our professional lives. We can use it for anything which is repetitive, which is clerical. I repeat, anything which is repetitive, which is clerical. Why I'm saying this again and again? We can use it for making opinions, making replies as well, but it is with its own set of problems. It is going to, generate all the citations and case laws will be fake. So you need to be cautious enough while handling opinions and case law with the help of AI. But there is a catch. How you can do that, we will discuss in a later part of the presentation. Coming back to this slide, AI in professional services, we can use AI in doing day-to-day automation. Maybe if we want to test and document anything, we need to streamline our audit processes. We need to create some checklist or something. We need to create audit programs. We can do many things with the help of this audit automation related activities. We can use it in GST or tax assistance also. It can generate compliance checklist for us. It can draft some replies also. It can help in planning support also. And data analytics, it is very useful. If you are into data analysis and you are not using AI, you are missing out of something. If you want to do data analysis, even if you don't know how to do data analysis, just hand over your data. But before handing over your data to AI, just remove the sensitive information and replace it with some dummy data. So then only you should provide the data to the AI, and AI will give you some beautiful analytics, which we generally, we can't do with the help of Excel or something. We need some very good software to do that data analytics, which AI can do in minutes. We can use AI for internal productivity as well, like enhancing our firm operations, documentation part. We can obviously be efficient with the help of AI in case of workflows and everything. Like if we want to schedule a meeting, if we want to, it is like a virtual assistant for us. If not physical, it is a virtual assistant for us, and we can take help of AI for anything, maybe reporting or anything. But obviously we can't ignore everything. And why CA firms can't ignore everything with respect to AI is deadline pressure, documentation, standardization, and regulatory. So when I say deadline pressure, obviously at the time of doing everything near to the deadlines, maybe with respect to audit or maybe reviews or maybe GST compliance or maybe GST returns, TDS return, everything. If we start using AI, if we start using AI, then the clerical part will be gone. Now we will be focused on this skillful work, maybe doing ledger sanitization, maybe analytics, maybe MIS reviews, maybe any part of the as per our scope of work with the client, but clerical part will be at least gone. And when clerical part is gone, we can focus our time on doing some good work for our client, and we can create value for our clients. So next is the types of AI. How many types of AIs are there? What we were discussing till now is generative AI. Generative AI means it can create content on its own, it can draft, it can think, it can research in a limited manner, but it can. Narrow AI is or is was being used from many years in some way or the other. Like for example, banks were using narrow AI for fraud detections and for GST mismatch identification. Also, narrow AI was being used. But from last 2 to 3 years, generative AI has taken over everything. And generative AI is being used everywhere. So main generative AI engines are ChatGPT, Gemini, Cloud, Excel Copilot, Deep Research is there. So these are the major engines which are being used for generative AI, and it can be used for many things which we have already discussed. But we need to consider that it can do wrong law interpretation, it can hallucinate, it will require careful verification before issuing any deliverable. So uh, you all would have heard one of the big firm issued some of the reports and opinions in Australia and Canada with the help of AI. And maybe that was issued without careful verification. So they had to pay back some of their fees to the regulator. So before issuing any work which we have done with the help of AI, we should be careful. We should be skeptical. We should review everything out of it. We should not issue deliverable on the face. We are supposed to review everything. Especially the case law citations are generally fake, so don't rely on solely on the basis of the report which is generated by AI. You need to review it again and again. You will have to tell rectifications to AI. It can redraft the report or opinion, but that needs to be taken care of. It can't be used on face. It can't be used as it is. Your professional skepticism, your professional judgment is paramount. It can't replace anything. Next is cognitive AI and autonomous AI. Cognitive AI is also being used largely in professional houses. So, for example, we are using Power BI, Excel, Copilot, or maybe many of us are using Zoho, Zia, QuickBooks, and Tele Insights for our day-to-day activities. For audit documentation, also many platforms are there which are being used by many of us. So it can be used for analysis, risk scoring, trend insights, internal audit observations. It can be used for many things. Autonomous AI is like an advanced AI tool which can be used to create some softwares or maybe small tools or something like that. So UiPath and Zapier are the prominent ones in this category, and you can use it if you want to create some tools or maybe something related to work management, time management, or HRMS related software can be prepared with the help of this tool. Recently, we have also prepared one tool with the help of Replit, which we use for extracting notices from the GST portal and taking care of our task management. Next is foundation models versus fine-tuned models. Earlier, I had said that case laws and citations provided by ChatGPT is generally fake. So now I will rectify on that. In case of foundation models, where you use AI as it is without providing any information to AI, by when I say information, I mean, for example, if you provide set of 100 case laws to the AI, then instead of foundation, we will call it fine-tuned model of AI, where you have created an agent of AI and you have provided them with 100 case laws, and you want AI to analyze those 100 case laws. Then it then probability the risk of hallucination will be lower and accuracy would be better. So if you want help of AI in creating opinions or maybe replies or anything, then probably you should give some set of case laws to the AI, and you should tell the AI to use all these case laws only, and beyond these case laws nothing should be used while framing the opinion or the reply. Then you can probably use AI properly and without the risk of, I would say, not without, but at a lower risk of hallucination. So next is, how should you choose the right AI type? We have discussed many categories of AI: uh, narrow, generative, cognitive, and autonomous. Which AI should be used to execute your task? If you want to do some validation, you can use narrow AI. If you want to draft something, maybe report, maybe opinion, maybe anything, or maybe some for some data analysis or something, then you should probably use generative AI. I've mentioned it as Gen AI. For getting some insight or research related activities, cognitive AI would be better. And for automating your repetitive workflows, you will have to use autonomous AI, wherein Zapier and UiPath are most famous. Next is benefits. Obviously, though there are some limitations of using AI and you need to be careful, but that is not the case where you should think that now you should not use AI or something like that. AI is very useful, but it's just that you need to be skeptical while using AI, and your professional judgment will always work. It's not that it is going to replace that. Obviously, benefits are there of using AI by CA firms. It is definitely going to increase your speed. Earlier, you would have seen maybe 3 years or 4 years down the line when you used to prepare some replies or some opinions, it used to take hours or maybe days. Now it can be done quickly with the help of AI. If you have your research available with you, you have copy of your laws or maybe case laws and everything. You can just upload it to the AI, whichever AI is you are using. It's not like that you will have to use chat gpt or cloud or maybe notebook or maybe anything. You can use any AI. If you are doing research, then notebook is the best AI in market as of now. But daily basis, this market is evolving and new companies coming to play its role. But as of now, notebook is good if you want to research on some things. And if you are uploading the content properly with the AI, you're sharing everything properly, it is going to give you the bestest of the result, provided content and everything which has been shared with the AI is proper. Accuracy support. So, for example, you are working on a project and you have handed over some tasks to your intern, है and you have given a timeline of maybe for around 2 days to your intern that so and so task need to be done in 2 days and you need to check so and so things. You have given the checklist and everything to your intern. What if that process can be automated? What if that process can be automated with the help of AI? If you can automate that process of checking everything, maybe checking the compliance, maybe checking the ratios or anything, if you can automate that process, which I guess you can easily automate most of your process, which are clerical and repetitive, and you will see the result yourself. You will be saving a lot of your time. Lot of accuracy would be there. Obviously hallucination and risk is there, but you need to be careful while punching all your information and giving all the data to AI. If everything is proper, AI is going to give you a good result which can be reviewed by you, and if any modification is required, that also can be suggested to AI and AI can give you the final report. Next benefit of using AI is standardization. You can use AI for standardized internal practices and maybe for your clients as well. You create many templates for maybe for preparation of financials, maybe for analysis of ratio, maybe for maintenance of fixed asset register, maybe for maintenance of secretarial records. It can be for anything. It can be used for creation of standard operating procedures. It can be used for creation of reports. Many people are using for example, I've created this presentation with the help of Gamma is also an AI tool which is used for creation of presentations. So many people who are into internal audit are using Gamma like AI for creating their presentations which they use for presenting it to the management or cognitive leverage. It is very important. It may not be important for us, but it is an important feature for the new entrants where they can think like seniors. They can get all the insights with respect. For example, maybe your new intern is going for an audit for a client who is engaged into jewelry business, and that in turn don't know anything about jewelry business, how do this industry operate, what are internal controls should be there, how if QFR framework is tested. He don't know anything about it. But with the help of AI, he can get to know about industry, about if QFR he can basically he can do his analysis and everything before going to the client place, and he will be mentally ready, and he may be competitive also with his seniors and other colleagues in sharing his thoughts. Otherwise, he wouldn't had be able to do all these things. So for juniors or new entrants, it is very important to use AI for doing their homework and analyzing the things before doing anything. Next is scalability. So, for example, if you need to send a quotation to your client, so you had a discussion with your client in the morning, and you have agreed on some of the scope of work, and you have agreed on the commercial. Now you need to send your engagement letter to the client. So how do you want to prepare that engagement letter? If you are preparing it in Word file, then probably you would take somewhere around 30 or maybe 45 minutes to prepare that engagement letter. With the help of AI, if you have given your format and everything to the AI, and you just need to update AI on your client and commercial. Rest everything will be done, and AI will give you the engagement letter maybe within 1 or 2 minutes. So obviously, the work which would have taken 45 minutes will take somewhere around 1 to 2 minutes if we give everything to AI. But by saying giving everything to AI, one should be cautious enough in sharing everything to AI. Sensitive information, private information, personal information should not be shared, maybe related to your firm or maybe of your client or maybe of anyone. It should not be shared. You should replace that information with some dummy data, and then you should provide that information to AI. Since privacy may be an issue with AI, AI may be using anything out of it and doing some analysis with your data, which may be detrimental to your practice. So be careful before sharing any data with AI. So, with the help of AI, what changes will it bring in? Less manual work, more judgment work. You will definitely get more time to for doing your judgment related work, for doing some analysis and decision making, which will be helpful in doing value addition for your client as well. So, and at last, faster career growth. If you want to grow the ladders quickly, AI is the skill which is the need of the hour. So you will have to learn AI. You will have to use AI. You will have to use AI properly. When I say properly, I will say it again: redact, change data, professional skepticism, professional judgment. These four words are key when you are using AI, especially for a professional like us. If we talk about practical use cases, you can create audit program with the help of AI. You can create risk comfort metrics with the help of AI. You can also do control walkthroughs and analytical reviews with the help of AI. If, for example, if your team will go to a client's place tomorrow, and they are tasked with inventory verification, and suddenly you are out for a meeting, and you are not there to explain your team how they should do this process, and what is floor to tag, what is tag to floor and everything, and you are not available to explain anything to your team. You have just told them that tomorrow they will have to go there and do this inventory verification procedures. but somehow you didn't get time to explain everything to your team. But what would they do? They can use AI to check inventory verification procedure. They can use AI to create a checklist. They can use GPT issued by institute as well. So institute has also issued some GPTs which can be used by all of us, and you simply need to punch your membership number and you can access all those GPTs. So these GPTs are linked with chat GPT, so you can use all those GPTs as well. uh, ASB is there, Accounting Standard Board is there, DirectX Committee. I guess every committee is there on GPT. The data is there. Institute regularly updates all those agents, and it can be really helpful for you in creating all those checklists and procedures. And it will be helpful for your team as well, where they can create some checklist. So, for example, I will create one inventory verification checklist for you. Uh, is my chat GPT visible?
Yes, sir.
If TechNim can confirm? Yeah. So, firstly, we will have to set the context. So, think like a statutory auditor. And help me in creating a checklist for verification of inventory for a client in. So I have given this prompt to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is analyzing my prompt and will be back with results maybe within 30 seconds or a minute. So generally it takes less than 30 seconds for issuing any comment. But in case of deep research, it may take somewhere around 10 minutes. For just to explain what deep research is, I will have to go to new chat. I will have to click here on this deep research. My deep research limit is gone. I can use 5 deep research in a month. So I need to click here before doing any deep research. And in case of deep research, it generally takes somewhere around 10 minutes before commenting on anything. So it has come with a checklist for a client which is engaged in jewelry business. So it is uh, telling me that I need to do some pre-verification planning. I need to understand something related to client water. Sorry, shall I continue?
Yes, sir. Please continue.
Yeah. So I need to understand something about client, like what are inventory type is there, storage location, and everything. So then I need to assess risk. So all this process has been drafted. I can use this obviously after checking everything. And what we need to also check is if chat gpt is missing on anything, so that needs to be checked. But I guess 80% work is done. 20% review and verification work will have to be done by us. That can't be replaced by any of the AI. No AI will guarantee you that it is going to give you 100% correct results. So you need to be skeptical enough to use any of the product which has been given to you by AI. So it can't be used as it is. So next is it can be used for analytics as well. For analytics, I will tell you again, it is beautiful to use data analysis with the help of AI. Just try to use some trends and pattern analysis or maybe spike detection. It will help you a lot, especially in case of audits. It is be a it is going to be a blessing for you if you are using AI, since data analytics is a beautiful part of AI, and everyone should use AI for data analytics, but cautious use. I will say it again, don't punch any sensitive data on AI. Just replace everything and give it to AI. In case of taxation, we can use it for drafting replies, section comparison. So everyone who is into income tax practice would be facing this issue. For example, the earlier provision and the new provision, as per the Income Tax Act 1961 and Income Tax Act 2025. So if you want to compare all those sections, you can also use this AI. You just need to give AI the previous law and the new law and the mapping of sections. So, for example, section one of 1961 law is section one of 2025, so on and so forth. So you will have to give mapping of sections to AI, and it can help you with the comparison of these two laws as well. You can create some summaries with the help of AI. So, for example, you want to analyze the updates on daily basis. You just need to give all those updates to AI. AI will give you a one-page summary which you can go through, and if you want to study anything in detail, then you can study that in detail. But AI can help you in creating all those summaries if you want to do that. In case of GST also, it can be used for drafting of notices. If you want to do various analysis, if you want to do AI based risk scoring, for example, some of your vendors are not reporting their sales data on time, which is hampering your input tax credit. So that risk, AI based risk scoring can also be done. 2A2B reconciliation can also be done with the help of AI. For consulting also, we can use AI in some way or the other for maybe for the risk identification, risk comfort metrics, and policy drafting, compliance calendar creation. So let us go back to the chat GPT again. Let us try to make one compliance calendar with the help of chat GPT. So it has created one compliance calendar for us. So for GST, it is saying you will have to do all these compliances on monthly basis. E-way bill is a continuous process, and you will have to create it as and when there is any dispatch. In case of income tax, you need to do all these compliances of PF is mentioned in under income tax, but it should have been mentioned under labor laws. So labor laws, it is also mentioned, quarterly compliances are there. So it has created a compliance calendar for us. We just need to go through it and let it know that if there is any correction required or not in this compliance calendar. So it has also mentioned that due date of 3CB is so and so, tax audit is so and so, individual non-audit ITR is so and so. So you all would be seeing that this date is 31st July. So whenever you take help of AI generally considers the original date. It won't help you with the extensions and everything in most of the cases. I won't say it won't help in all of the cases, but in most of the cases, it won't help you with the extended due dates. So what else you can do? You can delegate your work to AI, which is 80% of the repetitive work which we do. And the rest 20% task which involves critical judgment can be taken care of by ourselves. So which requires a human expertise. Rest, everything which is repetitive, everything which is continuous, being done on continuous basis, everything which is clerical, which can be automated, should be automated. We should not find some escape routes and think like, let's do this firstly or do that firstly, let's keep it on manual basis, it is fast or something like that. But as and when we start using AI, we get to know that yes, AI is better. It may have some issues with respect to skills and everything, but the draft which AI gives is 50 to 60% accurate. And for some of the data, we need to be cautious, like case laws and citations should be carefully reviewed. And obviously, human judgment still matters. AI can help in accelerating the work, but the context, interpretation, ethics, accountability can only be provided by humans. So AI has no emotions, what we have. We know our ethics very well. We are accountable to people, the AI is not. So, our professional judgment cannot be automated. We will have to take these words. We can't say that, oh, this work was done by, oh, I'm sorry, this is the mistake of AI or something. We can't say this to our clients. We need to be professionally skeptical while using any of the work which we have get it done through AI. We need to be professionally sound when we use AI, and we can't use anything on face. Limitation and risk. So I will quickly take it through. Limitations are inaccuracy. Obviously, it gets hallucinated. It cites wrong case laws or generate incorrect numbers. It may not verify every output before sharing it with you. And next limitation is lack of context. So for example, you want an inventory checklist from AI, and you are not providing it with any context, whether it is into which industry or turnover or anything. You just brought, I want inventory checklist. So without proper context, it won't help you properly. If you want to use AI properly, you will have to provide it with proper context. You will have to explain everything properly. Since AI is a machine, it has no emotions. It won't understand your words in between the words. So obviously, you will have to explain everything properly to AI. Data sensitivity. It is a great risk for everyone, especially the professionals like us. We can't share anything on AI. So, for example, you are doing audit of a listed company, and erroneously someone from your team uploaded the sales data for some analysis on AI. So it can be detrimental to your interest. So one should be careful before sharing any of the data with AI. If you want to do any analysis, just change the sensitive part of the data with some dummy numbers, or maybe some dummy names or anything, and then only share your data with AI. And also remember that while sharing any data, don't disclose name of your client, don't disclose name of your firm, don't disclose any sensitive data. Regulatory gaps are there, so there's no specific guidelines uh, as such in case of AI. Ethical risk, over reliance, misuse. So over reliance creates the risk of misuse. So we can't over rely on AI that, oh, I have given this command to AI, now AI is going to handle it. No, it is ultimately you who is going to handle everything. AI is just going to assist you. AI is not going to replace your task. So ultimately, you are responsible, your team is responsible, your firm is responsible, and AI is not. AI is just your assistant. AI is an artificial intelligence. It is not a human brain. Next is trust but verify. I will repeat it again. You should not upload any of your client sensitive data. You should redact everything before use. And one should prefer enterprise tools. Just don't use free to AI tools, unless nothing is free. If something is free, you are paying to that AI, maybe with the data you are uploading to it. So data is the new gold. So you are providing that gold for free to that AI which is providing you that free tool. So please avoid using any of the free tools. It can be detrimental to your interest. It can be detrimental to the interest of your client. So avoid using any of the free tools. Many free tools are available in the market, but you should be careful before using any of the AI which is free, as nothing is free in this world. Before creating any of the prompt, you should ideate, then structure it properly, then draft, and whatever has been generated by AI should be reviewed properly before issuing it as a deliverable to any of your client or any of the stakeholder. How to write effective prompt? Before writing any prompt, your thought process should be clear. What do you want from that AI? You will have to add that context. You will assign him some role. You will have to, if you want something in a particular format, then you will have to specify that format. You will have to tell him the reasoning for everything. So for example, if you want AI to do risk comfort matrix related drafting, then you will have to tell AI that it will have to behave like a senior auditor. So for the example prompt could be, you are a senior auditor, create a risk and control matrix for the revenue cycle of a manufacturing company with 100 crore turnover, include key risk, existing controls, control owners, and testing procedures. Format as a table. So your prompt should be proper. If in case you face any difficulty in creating any of the products, what you can do is, there is a feature in Chat GPT where you can use various GPTs which are available in the Chat GPT only. So one of the GPT is prompt engineer. You can use this prompt
Mudit
engineer.
ji, sorry to disturb you, but already 5 o'clock, so we have also some question also. So please close your topic as soon as possible.
Give me 2 minutes, I will wrap up.
Sure, sure, sure. Thank you.
So you can use this prompt engineer for creating prompts. So you can write your prompts in short here, and you can ask prompt engineer to create a detailed prompt, and you can use that detailed prompt for your further analysis. Memo prompt is already done. Your prompt should be contextual and detailed, structured. All this we have already discussed. I won't discuss it again. I guess that is also. So final takeaway is we should accelerate smartly, navigate safely, and we ultimately we are going to own our judgment. So before using any work of AI, we need to maintain our professional skepticism and accountability for all outputs. No one is going to take that responsibility. If we have shared any information with the help of AI, then we only are responsible. AI is not going to be responsible for that task. So we need to be cautious enough. We need to be responsible, and at last, we should be future ready. Thank you. And now we can take any of the questions.
Thank you, Mudiji. There are some question. If you permit, we can take.
Yeah, sure. I can see
Question.
questions though.
Seans Kumar Jain from Gwalior. Question is how we can use it preparation of IT appeal.
For IT appeal, see, Shreyas, we can use AI for preparing the appeals and the grounds of appeal and everything. But the only bottleneck is quotation of case laws. So whenever you want to make a appeal, what you can do is you can use any of the AI. Notebook and ChatGPT is best in this case. Uh, I will show you something. So, for example, just go to Direct Access GPT of ICI and attach some of the case laws. Anna, you can attach some of the case laws here which are relevant to your case, and then you can ask ChatGPT to analyze all these case laws, and then upon that analysis, it can create the grounds of appeal and everything. Upon this activity, it won't hallucinate much since you have already uploaded the data which has to be relied by ChatGPT, and you will have to specify in your prompt that no other data should be referred apart from the files which you have uploaded.
Thank you. Next question is from Naveen Gala, Mumbai. How can redesk to be done?
How can
Redesk.
I can't hear you properly?
Sir, I think I understand, don't understand this question. This is like, how can redesk, REDECK, to be done?
Redact. Okay. So Redact can be done with the help of many tools. So Adobe do have feature to Redact. So Redact is basically you need to put some color on the sensitive maybe PDF files or maybe scan files where the sensitive part could not be read by any software. So it is a feature available in Adobe as well. You can do it through Adobe. You just go and find section and just write redact there. You will find a pencil shape there, and you can use that for redacting your data. Redacting is critical, I must say. It is critical.
Thank you, Mujiji, for delivering such a wonderful session. This is very engaging session, and you very in good manner explained what about AI, use of AI. I think this is a more important things in today. 50 to 60% of our work is already done by AI, and how you also explain about the risk of AI because there is sensitive data, financial data, and other important data. So thanks for topic. Thank you, Mudiji.
Thank you.
Now for next session, our topic is key learning from NFRA, circular order and guidelines. Our next speaker is CA Chintanji. A brief profile of Chintanji. He have over 20 years of experience working with SMC, MNC as auditor, advisor of Indian and International Accounting Standard, ESG reporting. He has authored a book of Indias and ICDS published by Taxman. He has also developed more than 500 sessions on various topics across multiple platforms. चिंतन जी प्लीज
निखिल एक मिनट में बीच में है ना just I would like to speak about Mr. Chintan Patel. He is my very good friend and is a very dynamic leader from Ahmedabad. Not only he is very good academician but a leader also, and is serving a lot for the to the fraternity, and very I can say, very big disciple of the profession. So Chintan Patel ji, and we have invited him several times at Jaipur also, Nikhil, on various topics relating to Companies Act. And now today's topic is really wonderful when he's going to speak on that particular NFRA. I think NFRA, we are aware that as of now is not applicable on non-listed companies, but the days are not far when you will see that applicability of NFRA will come to all companies slowly. So the topic is very relevant, and I think Chintan will make this topic super relevant. He is such a nice orator and very good communicator also. So people will definitely enjoy. But Nikhil, if you permit me, I want to speak 2 minutes so I can do my work also. Um, Nikhil, if you permit me, should I
वॉइस ब्रेक
continue?
हो रही है।
मुझे मेरी आवाज आ रही है आपको?
Yes, Satish ji, aa rahi hai. So I think if you shall I carry on, Satish ji?
But 2 minutes, sir, because I am traveling and sometimes it may disconnect. So I thought that I should also speak to the my dear members who are
Yes,
attending
sir.
this
Yes,
particular
please, sir.
webinar, and just for 2 minutes.
Please.
So Chintan Patel bhai and Nikhil and Mudit ji and team CP and team tech team for organizing this webinar, and my dear friends in the webinar, let me welcome at this mid of this webinar, and thank you each one of you for joining the series of the webinars. It is our probably 67th webinar in this year, and we are having a target of 100 webinars, minimum 100 webinars. I think we will complete this, and these are not mere an organization of webinar. These are something which are providing real opportunities in the profession to our fraternity. And we have invited several speakers from outside country, from specific industries, just telling the opportunities in their countries or in their specific industry. So we are working a lot that how we can make this particular webinars medium to get the newer opportunity or emerging opportunities. Friends, this year our slogan in the CP committee was quality and availability of the programs. And we are ensuring that quality is there and availability is there. We are opening as many as CP circles, CP chapters, and CP groups to ensure that the members residing in the remotest corner of the country also take the benefit of CP credit program and enhance their knowledge. Apart from this, to ensure the quality, we are also coming up with real-time CP credit system in this calendar year only, in which if a member attends 6-hour program out of 12-hour registered program, he or she will get the credit of 6 hours only. If he attends 4 hours, the credit of 4 hours only. And this we are going to have the help of technology, and we are hoping that this will be implemented in this calendar year only. So let us welcome this initiative of the CP committee of ICI. Friends, apart from this, today I would just brief you. Today at ICI, we launched a very good credit card by AU Bank. AU Bank, and that credit card has very good features, my dear friends. That credit card is lifetime free, no joining, no annual fees. Number two, they are giving eight multiple reward points on payment of taxes by that credit card, on payment of purchasing of the that softwares, tax audit software, tax software, etc. So that is one point. Second point is this, that the if we pay the membership fees through that credit card, membership fees of ICI, which we pay annually, then the member will get credit of 25% of the fees if the fees is paid by that through that credit card renewal. Suppose I pay my annual fees is rupees 8,000, so I will get the credit of rupees 2,000 if I pay my fees through that credit card. So this is some unique feature with the credit card is coming up. And I would just like to recall that we last month we have launched two schemes of the SDFC Bank also. In one, there was a unsecured loan to the members at the rate of 10.6%, and the one working capital loan facility at the rate of 11%. I think you all are aware. If not aware, kindly visit to the CMP benefit site and tell your friends also to visit the CMP benefit site. So our new tie-ups or the initiations you come through, and you may be aware that what is happening new in the ICI. So friend, this is something from my side, and there are so many things to tell you, but I think we are regular on holding these webinars. We will definitely talk much in the next webinar, where I will also cover some initiations of the UDIN and some initiations of the other committees also. But one thing I just want to share, that we are all are reading in newspaper that government is thinking to scrap the audit of companies having turnover rupees 1 crore, or government is thinking to extend the limit of audit for tax audit. Friends, I just want to ensure you that your leadership is trying their best, that they these type of things don't come in picture, but we need your support also, support in the way that you can talk to the leaders, political leaders at your place, and can tell them that why audit is important in this market or in this scenario where the even there is no direct link to the trade turnover of the audit. There are several happenings which happens if even turnover is lesser than 1 crore, and which affects the total mechanism of the government and total banking system and total all other things. So if you are having some relationship with the leadership of political leadership, you can convince your leader like MP or minister or union government or the state minister that why audit should be continued. So they can talk to the FM or some other leaders, and this thing may resolve beautifully in favor of the profession. So this is something which I wanted to talk you. So, but I wish you all the best, and I just can assure you and ensure you that the leadership of the ICA is with the profession, with the fraternity at large. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot, and all the best, Chintan Bhai. I know that you are the amazing orator and the amazing communicator. Let us take the benefit of your oration. Over to Nikhil Agarwal ji or Chintan Bhai. Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Satish sir, for your wonderful welcome address. Our approx more than 500 participants are there. Just for
Okay.
information. Now, I request to Chintan sir, please continue.
Thank you so much, Nikhilji, and my heartiest compliment to Satishji. Just look at his dedication. He has been traveling in car, and this is the second time, Satishji. Last time also I had a session, and you've been traveling and you are speaking. So he was just like he has attended the session and was waiting till the last moment to address to all of you. I think the kind of devotion I have seen him with him is really appreciable, and always ready to support the profession, always ready to think for the members. So compliments to you and also the Vice Chairman, C. Vishnu Agrawalji, who also give me opportunity to share my views here. So with this brief word, let me share my screen and I will take it forward this topic.
See you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sadiq. Friends, I think the topic, whenever since last few years, whenever the word is NFRA, we always have basically something to learn from that. And yes, since last few years, it has created a sense of fear among professional. But I think we need to also learn from a lot of other things which are being there. So the today's session primarily focusing on the key learning as a audit profession. As a chartered accountant, what is expected for us to learn? That's what I'm looking for. And we always believe that why there's a need of NFRA, What is the role of NFRA? So I think we all have to understand one very important part, that the financial reporting credibility is a very, very important thing, because all investors, stakeholders are having like confidence on the financial reporting part. So till the time the financial reporting is credible, which is reliable, I think the whole financial system will collapse if it is not there. So, as a regulator, it is a very important role to ensure that this has been done appropriately, and the auditor is the first line of defense who is having information available of the financial statements, and they act as an agent on behalf of the whole public, all stakeholders, to review the financials and then thereafter provide opinion. NFRA is in India, but the similar platform is there across all countries in the globe. So there is one very important forum. There is International Forum of Independent Audit Regulator. So that forum, if you just if you just search on Google website and you find website of this particular forum, and where you can identify the list of the countries where the similar authority or similar government structure or regulatory structure is existing. For example, in USA there is a PCAOB, that is Public Company Accounting Oversight Board. For UK there is FRC, there is Financial Reporting Council. So same way there are different countries where there is a separate body who looks at oversight of the quality of the reporting, and then they are there to ensure that the results which are being provided, they are of the utmost importance to the public. So when you just talk about relevance, I think we all have to do first one very important thing, that when NFRA was introduced earlier, there was a lot of backlash in the picture. Why NFRA? What is reason? What is the role of ICI? But I think, as I mentioned to all of you, that this is a similar structure across the globe. What is the most important thing for all of us? We need to understand and then learn and adapt to the expectation. So adapting to expectation is the most important thing which we have to provide, because CA is known for trust, accountability, and transparency. Today also our ICA president has also made the trust as one of the most important logo motto for the year. Same way, whenever the chartered accountant talks about anything, whenever the chartered accountants give a certification, that certification has more credibility. And similar also was mentioned by the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, where he mentioned 2017 that the signature of a chartered accountant is important than the signature of a prime minister. The highest authority of India, when he says these words, I think we also have to understand the responsibility onus is shifted on our shoulder to ensure that the financial statements and reporting which has been attested are of that level. So, friends, what I did here, I have the whole agenda has been divided into the four aspects. At first, very important thing is I'm going to give a brief about the introduction and NFRA mandate, NFRA mandate. So we need to also look at what NFRA talks about, what is the role of NFRA, and then how it is being correlated with our role. Because in my view, the objective of NFRA and CA is the same. We are also here to look for the credibility of the and trust and worthiness of the financial statement. Similar is the objective of the NFRA to look at that the financial statement which have been published, they are of the level where this can be done. So second thing which I'm going to discuss is about proactive learning. There is always one fear factor which is coming to when NFRA talks about. So I think that's why my primary focus is to focus on what to do. What is a proactive learning from the literature which is already available. Therefore, the third aspect which you have taken is enforcement learning. Enforcement learning means what? They based on the orders issued by NFRA. What kind of learning we must have. So the part two, where I'm going to focus more on part two, where we are going to discuss more on what to do, what is expected from us, and then part three, where we are going to discuss about the results based on the enforcement which has been done by way of the orders which are issued by NFRA. And the part four of this presentation is primarily talking about conclusion, and call to action. So this is the way the whole presentation is been structured. My primary focus is to give you overview of the expectations as a professional. How can we build our own system so that we are able to ensure that the expectation of regulator, expectation of the government, expectation of the public is met, along with the document which is required for this purpose. The first part, that is introduction and NFRA mandate. Section 132, subsection 1 of Companies Act 2013, that has actually come out with the power to central government for formation and constitutions of NFRA. So National Financial Reporting Authority, sometimes the word the authority is there. I think again, every authority has a responsibility. The same way when we make attestation, we have authority to sign it. But again, with every signing authority, we have responsibility. Similarly, there's also situation with NFRA, even though they are authority, but I think there is a responsibility on the shoulder to ensure that the quality of the reporting, quality of the compliance of the standard of auditing, accounting standards has been appropriately done as per the laws and regulations concerned. So there are four main part and functions of NFRA. First is on formulation of accounting standards and standard of auditing. Second is monitor and enforce compliance with AS. Third, oversight quality of the service of accounting and auditing professionals, and then lastly is about any other things which may be required to fulfill the above objective, which can be prescribed by the law. So these are the main primary objective, and the duty of auditor here, when I just look at it, is a primary relevance with the compliance of standard of auditing and accounting standards. As an auditor, when we refer to our auditor's report, in the auditor's report, we provide our opinion on compliance of a standard of auditing, and it also talks about the compliance of accounting standard. Even though we write down specifically in audit report, the responsibility of management is a preparation, but the responsibility of the auditor is to review, verify, and then provide opinion. So the auditor's report, even if the is one pager or two pager, I think it provides overall snapshot of the for any users to take opinion about what is to be done. Applicability of NFRA, as Satish ji mentioned, that it is not applicable to a small company. However, it is applicable. The objective is to make applicable for PIE, that is public interest entities, PIEs. So PIEs has been defined under the NFRA, and which right now includes all listed companies, plus also include unlisted public companies with a specific threshold. Threshold is based on turnover, based on the borrowing and paid up capital. Additionally, it also includes the subsidiary and associate of the companies covered if they constitute 20% threshold of the consolidated turnover net worth. So the coverage of NFRA is not only limited to basically a listed company. It also includes unlisted public company based on threshold, plus subsidiary and associate of the companies which are covered above. So that is all part of NFRA. The focus has been primarily more where the public is interested. That's why it's called public interest entities. Where the public is interested, where the stakeholders are interested, that's ought to be have the higher like emphasis, higher control as far as the government is concerned. Now, the last point is primarily I'm talking about the dual approach which has been taken by NFRA. When the NFRA was constituted, they started with the review of certain financial statements, then audit firms, inspection of the audit firms. Then they also have done review of certain matters which have been referred by SEBI, and many orders have been issued. Approximately around 85 orders are issued so far by NFRA. Plus, NFRA has also issued circulars which are of like interest or knowledge to the auditors about expectation of NFRA while finalization of the audit. Third, It has also done AQR, that is audit quality review reports, and FRQR, financial reporting quality review reports. So these are also being done. So when we talk about AQR and FRQR, AQR is a primarily with respect to the audit quality. So their focus is more on the audit firm and the quality of the audit. FRQR is another way is talking about financial reporting. So where the focus is more on the review of financial statements and then providing the comments and suggestions. So EQR, FRQR, I thought this is about the orders of investigation orders, then inspection of the firms, and lastly, since last 1 year, there has been, I can see the very important change into the perspective of NFRA, wherein they have just started with the webinar series with respect to the awareness campaign. So on one side, creating the fear aspect, and second way, creating an atmosphere where we also want you to learn, adopt as per requirement. So in my view, I think the both ICI and NFR has the same objective, and that's why both working together is one of the most important thing for the nation which can happen. And since last 1 year, when you just look at, there are a lot of very important things which have been announced by NFRA, which includes audit committee communication. There are 4 series which includes the audit committee communications. Then there are circulars which are issued by them, and webinar. Yesterday was a webinar on impairment of assets, which was being discussed. And same way, there are series of webinars has been like planned. So in my session, my primary focus is to not to look at the negative aspect, not to look at the negative thing which has been done with some audit firm or with some companies. The focus is to learn from what has been already done. So that's why the first primary focus is to learn from the positive aspects, which is basically the proactive learning, right? So when I say proactive learning part 2 and part 3 is enforcement. Enforcement learning is something where we are learning from other people's negative things and then ensuring that it is being done appropriately. And proactive learning is where we are learning from the circulars, audit committee presentations, webinar, or other aspects which are available on the website of NFRA. So I'm going to focus primarily more on part 2 and part 3. Based on the time availability, I will be focusing on part 3 also. And then at the end, we have discussion on part 4, that is call to action. So let us now first look at proactive learning, that is what to do. As I mentioned, for proactive learning, I have considered one is the circulars. These are issued by NFRA, which talks about the few very important matters, and then what is expected from us. That is the one. Second is audit committee communication. See, when I say audit committee communication, I think the focus here is to also involve those charged with governance as a part of this particular responsibility. When we just talk about the protection of public interest, because let me just read through one of the very, very important part of this particular if you just look at NFRA's primary responsibility is to protect the public interest. And for protection of public interest, it is not the only auditor. Auditor is a first line of defense. However, I think everybody who is attached with this requirement, they all have their own duties. So it is auditors, audit committee, and the most important thing in my view is the management of the company. If we really want to create the impact can be created easily, or we can achieve the objective of protection of public interest if the top management of the company are aware about the seriousness of this information. If they themselves believe that this is something which is not acceptable, not tolerable, I think this is all will boil down, and then everybody will fall into the particular respect. But till the time the top management is not able to like change themselves, they are not able to understand that the impact to them. Thereafter, the auditors and audit committee, they may change themselves, but the impact will be greater only when the top management. So one very important, I think, the feedback which I can expect that may happen in the future, that the NFRA may increase the role. Obviously, there's no need to increase the role because the role of NFRA already includes the protection of public interest. And for protecting public interest, the prevention is better than cure. And to prevent, if at the time of the filing the SEBI result, automatically if the sampling is done, automatically if the EI has been done, then immediately some queries can be thrown to the management. Thereafter, the next time they'll be more careful. Instead of waiting for 3 years, 4 years, and then doing audit for 3 years back, 4 years back, and to the auditors, it will be more impactful if NFRA, along with the SEBI, has one committee where they are able to work on the results which are filed, quarter results are filed, and immediately within a certain period of time, they are able to throw some queries and issues to management. Then the management will also be on toes, and then they will be trying to learn from that, and the atmosphere will change. So prevention is better than cure, because once the fraud happens, thereafter everybody who's working there as scapegoat. Everybody is a part of these particular things. It is being presumed. That's for that is the most important role is to focus on how to prevent the fraud doesn't happen, how to prevent. That is possible only when it is done online, live, at the time of filing itself is done. And then if it is done, in my view, it has a huge impact as far as the impact on the protection of public interest is concerned. It will be achieved. So let me just take this particular like conversation ahead on basically my focus on proactive learning. Yes, we are going to discuss on the circulars. We are also going to have review of the auditor audit committee communications. Webinars just started. I think there was a circular and by government, press release by government recently, 3 days back, that they want to start a full-fledged series of webinar for communication. Started with yesterday, but yes, we hope to get more. And lastly, very important thing is one audit strategy memorandum, a sample document of audit strategy memorandum issued by NFRA. Maybe I think this is the first time we have seen that a sample document is provided by NFRA. We have received from ICI. ICI has been doing fantastic job. They have been trying their best to ensure that we got the adequate equipment, resources, working templates. However, NFRA has done for the first time where they come out with audit strategy memorandum, and that may be helpful to us as sample document to start with when we strategize ourselves. The important areas, when you just look at all these review of the circulars, audit communications, webinars, I think there are the 5 important points on which these are relevant. So I'm going to focus more on these 5 points, and then we will take it ahead. One is a professional skepticism across all the orders, across circulars, orders, everywhere. When we just talk about, there is a focus on the professional skepticism. So what has been perceived by the regulatory authority here is that the audit is, don't take audit as only a compliance exercise. Audit is a serious job. Even president of past president of ICI has mentioned once that the audit is a serious job. So if you don't want to do serious job, please leave it. So that's why it says that you have to be taking these not only as compliance exercise. It is not a checklist filling exercise. It is a duty casted on the auditor, and that's why the professional skepticism is one of the most important elements that has to be taken into consideration in whatever we do. Second is about fraud risk. So because as it is a protection of public interest, the most important thing is to really also look at that wherever some risk of fraud is being there. So how can we identify with the fraud risk? The fraud risk poses may include, first is variance analysis of the financial statements, where you are able to understand is there is unusual trends, unusual pattern into the financial statement. Second, very important thing, you can also look at the journal entries. Any journal entries which are done at the reporting date, probably it needs your eye on the things to see that whether any journal entry includes something which may be required to look at into the detail to identify. Third thing is that also we need to look at key balances. See, balance confirmation has been one of the most important thing which has been discussed for since fraud has been there, because we are aware that in Satyam case the balance confirmation was one of the most important culprit, which has really given a lot of things to the auditor and also the management. Where that's why it has been always mentioned that confirmation of the balances, which are key balances, which are large balances, this has to be done. And there are two ways of doing confirmation. One is a direct confirmation, second is indirect confirmation. So direct confirmation is where the auditor himself, they approach to the particular parties and get confirmation. So I think the if any red flags are there, that red flags need to be really go into detail, and then to have documentation to support why this red flag has no impact on financials. That is what is being required. So first point, as we discussed, professional skepticism and fraud is, this has been one of the most important parts. Second is communication with TCWG. That is those charged with governance. Those charged with governance is the where audit committee or the top important management who have been the part of this particular process. Their responsibility is very important thing. So the here it at various literature, NFRA mentioned that why this particular risk you are not informed to the audit committee. Presentation to audit committee is not only for the sake of presentation. It is your responsibility as an auditor to communicate the important things. Like, for example, ECL. If there are some unusual modification in ECL or assumption which are taken in ECL, it has to be informed. Implement testing. If the implement testing is done, the result of implement testing, assumption which are used in implement testing has to inform. Plus, if there are some change in audit plan or there are control deficiencies, it is responsibility of the auditor to inform to the audit committee. Because till the time, and I think this is something which is very important for auditor, it is not only for the compliance of the standard of auditing. This is not only for compliance of the requirement of NFRA. This is to share the risk with those charged with governance. The audit committee is not only a committee or group of people who have been there only for the sake of being committee members. There is a huge role which has been there and expectation from audit committee. There is a reason why the audit committee communique was started by NFRA. And in my view, if we communicate to audit committee, it will be going to be very important defense for us for two aspects. First, very important thing is that a standard of auditing requires to communicate. Second, very important thing is that you are also sharing your concerns with your higher authority, and it includes independent director, it includes the responsible person whose responsibility is also aligned with your responsibility. So sharing with them is again a very important part which we should do. Third very important thing is auditing accounting estimates, ECL and impairment. In DS or accounting center also, there have been a lot of estimates which have been there. It is a principle based accounting standard. As a principle based, there are a lot of things where estimates is take. Now, the estimate which have been taken by the management, the role of auditor is very important to check the basis of estimation, because the estimation can completely change the result of financial statements. We cannot say like without understanding, without going to detail, without challenging the estimation. We can't be very blindly enough to say that estimates are done by management, I have taken MRL. No, that is not acceptable. We need to challenge estimates. So this has been one of the most important thing. So the basis of estimate is what is need to be cross check, and then we need to argue with the management, and then to get satisfaction about this thing. Third very important thing is about audit planning and risk assessment. Planning is one of the most important part, and risk assessment is a part of plan. Sometimes as an auditor we may be doing it probably before you start the audit. There has been a lot of planning will be done, like looking at the company, understanding business, understanding process, what is the team size, what is the expectations. However, there's a need to have the documentation which suggests, and once you put in the documentation, I'm sure that you have a more number of points which require to be done. Because even though the planning is done, but if it is done orally, if it is not done systematically, there are chances that the most important parts may be missed out, and it may can come to you in the last moment. So risk assessment has been also the part of the planning, because you cannot do like planning before understanding the risk of particular business of the company. And the fifth part is of group audit and RPT compliance. So group audit and related party transitions. What the fraud which has been happened so far in India and the world, where the lot of transaction has been like done across the group companies. And one of the most important thing which the NFRA has observed is that the group auditor is different than component auditors, and it has been safely said by group auditor that I am not verified the component auditor. So that's why the circular issued by NFRA made it very clear that the group auditor's responsibility is there. Even though the component auditor is done by some other auditor, the group auditor cannot blindly rely on these things. And another point is about related party transactions. Wherever the presence of related party transactions are very high, it is a part of the risk which need to be managed by way of doing additional checks and control on that part to satisfy yourself that the risk is being mitigated and there's no such fraud happens here. So, briefly, we'll cover about these four circulars which are issued by NFRA. That is, first was on October 2022 on non-accrual of interest on borrowing by companies in violation of India's, then non-compliance with India's policy on revenue, then responsibility in relation to fraud in a company, then basically it was on the responsibility of the principal auditor and other auditor. Let us look at these particular circulars. I have briefly taken and talk about this point, but to have first point is about responsibility of principal auditor and other auditor. So if you just look at the word, the circular says word should is referred under SS 600. Now, SS 600 says should means it is a compulsory mandated on the responsibility of the principal auditor, and it makes it very clear that principal auditor retains responsibility for the group and must obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. There has been the line of defense for the auditors, and there has been always a concern that the group auditor just look at the standalone company and all subsidiary joint ventures are being audited by somebody else. But in consolidated financial statement, the impact can be very big one. So however, it has been made it very clear that the principal auditor has a responsibility, even though they can rely. It is not about the principal auditor has to do audit again. They can rely, but they need to also apply the professional skepticism, professional judgment, and then do all the procedures which are required to have a sufficient appropriate audit evidence for with the principal auditor. And very important thing is no bar on the principal auditor reviewing the component auditor's working papers. That is very clear part. Where there's always insecurity with the component auditor saying that they will not share working paper because working paper is a property of the auditor. However, SS 600 and the circulars made it very clear that the audit working paper of component auditor also need to be shared by the component auditors to the principal auditors. Secondly, very important part is about accounting estimates and judgments. As I mentioned that it is duty to communicate. See, the role of those charged with governance is not only for the sake of the laws and regulations. It has a huge impact. So, but first is duty on auditor, duty on us to communicate with those charged with governance. If you're not communicated, you're keeping a risk with you. I think we all should make sure that the communication happens to those charged with governance. Auditor to identify and test management assumptions. Sometimes what happens that assumptions have been there, estimates are there. So estimates and assumptions, if have been taken blindly, they can change the result. So the estimate assumption need to be challenged to understand that are they logical, are they appropriate, what are the bases for arriving at these estimations. This is the role of the auditor when you just talk about estimation and assumptions and judgments. Non-accrual of interest on borrowing by companies. So here a case which was where NFRA has identified that in case the bank borrowing is classified as non-performing asset NPA, when the bank borrowing is classified as NPA, the company has stopped accruing the interest. Here, the NFRA has come out and step into the stage and saying that the accrual of interest and borrowing classification by RBI is both different thing. For accrual of interest, we need to look at India's 109 financial instrument, which provides a guidance. It says that whenever the financial liability is extinguished from that date onwards, or we need to provide the ECL and accordingly to do it. So liable to pay interest continues until the financial liability is extinguished or legal release. So classification of borrowing as NPA doesn't tantamount to that you should not provide the interest. They both are different frameworks which provides you the standards and how to do that. Then comes the revenue and trade receivables. And here, when we just look at the accounting policy of many companies, it was observed that majority of companies, or there are a lot of companies who have used fair value as the basis of accounting policy for measurement for revenue trade receivable. Here it was being pointed out that India's 115 and India's 109, which talks about revenue and trade receivable, they said it is to be measured at transaction price. So that was being clarified by the NFRA circular. So that was the part on NFRA. Now I'm just talking about focusing more on auditor audit committee interaction. Now in this particular, there are four series has been four series. When it is series, every series has one document. So series one talks about audit of expected credit loss ECL. So there is a series one, part one, a document which provides basically what is the role of auditor and what is the expectation of audit committee from the auditor. Then there is a part two on income tax audit. Then series two is on audit strategy and plan. Then series three is on related party. Series four is on impairment of non-financial assets. The key Indians and assets which have been covered here, which are on, I think, lot of key assets which have been covered is SF 540, 701 keyword matter, 260 is completely those are governors, estimate SF 540. I think these are the few standard of auditing when you just refer that there has been frequently being discussed into this particular communication because these are for these things. For series 1 part 1, the audit of expected credit loss. So here basically the mention was that verify the ECL recognition and result approach, because for ECL there has to be probability weighted outcome. So what is the role of auditor? The role of auditor is to check that the probability weightage which has been used for competition, they are correct. See, ECL competition is not only a formula based things, there is a heart into. What has been most important discuss and notice here is that don't take audit or checklist or this process as only for the process. Every checklist need to be refined and customized for a client. If a checklist or the format is not customized, it will lose the relevance of this particular format. Therefore, we need to, as auditor, we need to verify, cross-check this outcome, verify internal control, whether robust internal control exists over the credit risk management, test the management's forecast, macroeconomic scenarios, check the genuineness of receipt of funds. So when I just talk about trade receivable, if any amount is received from trade receivable, we need to also look at is it genuine or not. So what happened that if it is received, it is shown as received, and later on it has been reversed, or the pattern has been there where this is happening over the period, then that gives the fraud risk indicator. Then it gives red flag for the auditor to do additional tasks. Even if the professional competence, even an expert has been taken by the management, it doesn't mean that we can blindly rely. It has been categorically being mentioned by the NFRA in various documents that expert doesn't mean that you can blindly rely. Experts means what? First actuary. It can be ECL comparison somebody else is doing. It can be valuation. It can be impairment testing. Probably there can be an expert for every of these things. But however, the role of the auditor is to also cross check and verify the judgment assumptions which are taken by expert, which are they in line with the basic requirement or not. If there is unusual movement in ACL balances, they need to communicate. Also need to understand at the end, is there a need to communicate this particular thing as a keyword matter. Uh, Part 2 is on audit of income taxes, deferred taxes liability. So properly identify relevant income tax law. The most important thing which happens here can be where uncertain tax treatments are there. So if the auditee has uncertain tax treatment, there is some litigation is going on, then one need to also look at the basis probability determination. The client says I will win, what is the chance of winning, how the probability is winning. You're saying 80%, 40%, 100%, 20%. How, what is the base of probability determination, which are assumptions which you've taken for different assets. If the DTA is there for different asset recoverability, what assumptions you have taken for DTA recoverability, whether the company has carried for losses or they have unabsorbed depreciation or the business is decline, why the company believes that the DTAs will recover. If there's a change in estimates from what has been done earlier judgments say earlier they assume that the company is going to win, then they say that no, the company is going to lose. What happens? What was the triggering event? Why this happens where the estimate has been changed? That is to be documented here. Audit strategy and audit plan. Define strategy and plan, risk identification, material determination. So here, overall materiality and performance materiality. So basically, this strategy and plan, which has been taken by them, as a very important document, because it is said that well plan is half done. So if you are able to plan properly well, then half of the work is already done. Why? Because you are able to visualize what will happen in the future. Then you're able to save a lot of time of rework. You are also able to save a time about unusual transition which are ignored. So, strategy audit plan has been taken as one of the very important document. It is not only process. So it says that you should also have a risk assessment procedure that should be done as a part of the audit plan. When you compute a strategy and plan, at that time you should have risk assessment done to identify which are the high risk for the company. Please ensure that any of these particular things, they are, the planning should be entity specific, risk based, and evidence driven. So these are three very important things when you plan. First is entity specific. That means what? The plan of audit need to be changed as per the company's concern. If the client is different, plan should be different. So it should be entity specific. Second, it should be risk driven. That means what? Risk assessment need to be done. The risk of each client is different, so risk driven. And third, it should be evidence driven. At the end, we also need to see that whatever way we are able to do the audit, the whole process and assumption, everything to be documented appropriately. So these three things we want to remember is it should be risk driven, entity specific, and evidence driven. If that is being done, then I'm sure that the audit strategy and audit plan will be perfect. Coming to related party transactions, so the related party relationship transaction disclosure is one of the most important thing for every regulatory authority. We just talk about MCA even for non listed companies. Still, it is very important thing where MCA has taken a stance wherever some RPT are not disclosed appropriately. So MCA, SEBI, or you talk about NFRA or any authorities, I think RPT is something which is a cause of concern. So it is observed that RPT is there where the governance fails first. So the first point when the fraud starts, negative happens, the first defense for them or first governance failure, it start only when the related party transaction has been done negatively or not proper. So the first governance falls always with RPT. So if you are able to identify something at the RPT level, it will be the start of the things, and probably we can pitch in to see that it has been appropriately been disclosed and all action is taken. Coming to impairment of non-financial assets, I think for impairment of non-financial assets, the most important thing is that we need to look at assumptions. CGU, so how the CGU is identified. Impairment can also be done at the individual asset level, or it can be done at the CGU level, which is the smallest identifiable group of assets, giving a. So, how the CGU is identified? If the goodwill is there, if there's intangible asset with indefinite useful life, the India says you have to do implementation annually. So, identification of CGU, allocation of goodwill, the assumptions used for cash flow projections, then the discount rate which has been taken for the purpose of discounting, is it a pretext or not? And what is the periodicity of these assumptions? I think these all things are critical for the auditor to cross check it. Now, coming to the third part, there is enforcement learnings. I know that we are running out of time. It's already, I think it's right now 6 p.m. But as I started a little late, so I'm going to extend maybe 5 to 10 minutes more, not more than that. So I will quickly cover on part 3 and part 4, and then we'll wait for any questions you are having on this part. So part 3, where I'm focus is more on enforcement learning. Here, as I mentioned, that what went wrong. Part 2 was positive, based on literature available, based on the learning, website, webinars, circulars, you learn and then apply it. Part 3 here, enforcement, the order has been taken, some action has been taken. So far, if you just look at the so far debarment, number of debarments, if you just look at more than 100 debarment list is there on the NFRA website. So, last part is probably we can learn from that enforcement. As Benjamin Franklin told once that it is always better to learn from other people's mistake, because it will fail. It is be our failure if we learn from our own mistakes. So let's ensure that we don't do mistake what has been done by others. Here, the best thing is that we can learn from the reports which are uploaded on NFRA website, FRQR, that is Financial Reporting Quality Review reports, where there are 4 FRQR are available on website, that is on different companies, and then there are audit quality review reports which are also available on NFRA website, that can be also gone through to understand that what is expectation. And then when I just look at all the orders and FRQR and AQR, so what I've done, I have tried to basically summarize all this learning into the 5 parts, 5 important points which I believe are the most important learning from this. I'm not going to detail of every order. It's a huge list. Around 85 orders are already issued by NFRA, 100 plus debarment. There are many circulars and AQRs are issued. So the focus was to focus on the top 5 things which has been very common across all these things. First is a professional skepticism. This is what is expected from every auditor. We need to have our antennas on. We need to have our signals network on every time which is going on. So it says that when the auditors stop questioning, the red flags will turn into blind spot. Right? So the questioning is the most important arm for the auditor. If we stop questioning, if we accept which has been there, I think the role of auditor is not that it's compilation engagement. The role of auditor is that to start questioning. Professional skepticism is start questioning. If you don't do questioning, then the red flags will turn into the blind spots. Second very important thing is that we also need to look at the fraud aspect, even though it has always been discussed and debated for so many years that the auditors are watchdog, not bloodhound. But I think the expectation is different. Even though for self-defense, even though for all of us, we can say that auditors are watchdog, not bloodhound, but the expectation of the public, expectation of the government is different, that they expect us to have appropriate procedures in place to identify if any frauds are there. So fraud may not be the main objective, but to identify if any red flags are there. There's also fraud risk questionnaire which we can run through the management. But I think identification of red flags and then changing our procedures to suit with this requirement may be the most important thing. Comes audit evidence and documentation. If no audit, if no documentation, means no work done. And this is a very clear point that if there's no documentation, means no work done. That means what? If you've done everything based, but if you're unable to provide the documentation, lack of evidences, lack of supporting papers, now that provides something which is not helpful to the auditor. So basically, that's why we have to be very careful to document everything, even though we do everything. But if it is not documented, that means nothing is done. Somebody who has been doing hard work and somebody who doesn't do anything and then sign, how they both are different? They both are different only by way of documentation. So please ensure that we have sufficient evidence and documentation is available. Third important thing is about independence and quality control. In a lot of cases where NFRA has identified that there are non-audit services has been provided, and the fees which has been charged by the auditor in non-audit services are such where the probability that the independence may be compromised. So we need to be very sure as far as the independence is concerned. And EQCR, see, like when you talk about those charged with governance audit committee, sometimes it has been used that they are only puppet or they are not able to really be effective when talking about these financial reporting compliances. Same way, they also expect that engagement quality control reviewer should be doing that job to ensure there is an internal check on the particular documentation to ensure that the appropriate audit documentation are available to satisfy the opinion given by auditors. Fourth point is about accounting measurement errors. So there was a circular which discussed about the interest not provided because NPA, and then there are estimations changes are there. So these are few as errors in estimation or few errors in the accounting, which can impact the true and fairness financial statements, where we have to be more cautious. And taking last point as far as part 3 is concerned is about reporting and opinion failures. So opinion is the most important thing, where it has been mentioned that you have to be cautious when the opinion is given, when to provide emphasis matter, when to provide qualified opinion, and which part should be keyword matter. I think these all are critical part to conclude. It is like conclusion of the whole process which is done that should be reflected in the audit report. So with this, I'm coming to last slide. I understand that we are taking time out, however, but this is something which is very important for all of us to conclude. And lastly, call to action. And the objective of ICI has been very important, where they wanted to see that the auditor, as a chartered accountant fraternity, we should increase our competence. But at the end, what is expected? What should be our conclusion? What should be our call to action? So recap, I think when it's just a recap, we talk about the audit planning, we talk about the professional skepticism, we talk about the documentation, where we say that there no documentation, no work done, the risk assessment has been done, fraud risk identification has to be done, real world transactions to be done, evidence to be sufficient, and that is what is expected here. And very important part is that we need to be seeing that the checklists don't become only mere filing checklist. That is where I think we have been missing. Everybody is missing on filling a checklist. Checklist should be customized. Checklist should have the information which is applicable to a company. It cannot be same remarks, same similar things for every company. You may have to customize a checklist. You may have to give a report which is reflecting the nature of the transaction of the auditing. That is more important thing. Now, the last few points for action points for CFM is, in my view, just strengthen your system before an inspection forces on. Probably there can be an additional inspection which will happen. I think we need to really have the time to strengthen the system. Everybody is to improve, including me. It's not that we all at top level. Everybody has to improve a lot. Not to improve, improve a lot on where today we are. So we need to strengthen and our system of quality management. We have to also strengthen engagement, acceptance, independence, documentation, and partner supervision. Documentation and audit papers has to be appropriately done. Training staff regularly is very critical part. You can also have the India's technical review, because for listed companies it's very important to have somebody who understands India's, and then they are able to provide all documentation, disclosures, and supporting documentation. So that can be a case where the India's technical reviewer can be a separate person or professional who can help you on that part. So to end everything, the most important thing I will just summarize: call to action into these to build a culture in a CA firm. I think it is a building culture of a EIR. So it is called EIR culture. E stands for evidence. Evidence should be non-negotiable. Means you should have the evidences to support the opinion. You should have evidences to support the assumption which have been taken. So E stands for evidence. Evidence are non-negotiable. I I stands for independence. Independence should be uncompromised. If independence compromised, I think the whole role of auditor is being challenged. So I stand for independence should be uncompromised. And R is a review. It can be EQCR, or it can be internal partners review, or it can be a manager review. Review should add to genuine challenge. It should be challenging for the team which is working there. It should be challenging for the company. So there has to be review, intense review done by the company. So the building culture in my view is EIR. E, that is the evidence non-negotiable. I, independence, uncompromised, and R, that stands for review. It should be challenging for every person who is working on that task. So friends, lot of things are there, so many things to be provided as learning from these things, but because of the time shortage I will try to cover the very important areas which I believe are very important for all of us to learn, and the learning should start from us, and then we can spread to our professional fraternities. So with this, I hand over the charge to the moderator for taking this ahead.
Thank you, Sinchan sir. On behalf of all participants, I extend my gratitude to C. Chintan sir for delivering such wonderful and knowledgeable session. Your deep understanding of NFRA framework and other practical way. You also cover audit strategy, audit plan, risk assessment, enforcement, learning, interview. I think all topic you had tried to cover in short time. This is 1 hour, very short time for NFRA, understanding NFRA. It's a very big scope in NFRA and very big topic. So thank for your time, your thoughts, your knowledge sharing. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Bye.